Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day, everyone. So, in the previous video, you have seen some methods in solving a quadratic equation. So, in this video, we're going to try and apply those knowledge, and we start off with this example. Okay. So, first of all, let us take a look at this what it seems in the first glance as something complicated, but you can see that the basic form or the basic term that cannot be reduced to anything else is actually 2 to the power of x. Okay, so now we have 4 to the power of x minus 3 2 to the power of x plus 2 is equal to 0. Now this is at its basic form. So now we need to be able to turn 4 to the power of x here to something that looks similar to this form. So now what can we do? You have learned about powers and exponents in chapter 3. So we're going to apply that knowledge now. So now 4 is actually 2 times 2 power of x 3 to the power of x plus 2 is equal to 0. Now, according to what you have studied in chapter 3, this is the same thing as having 2 to the power of x, 2 to the power of x minus 3, 2 to the power of x plus 2 is equal to 0. Now, to make things easier for us, we can always substitute 2 to the power of x with something simple. For example, let y be 2 to the power of x. So here we will have y times y minus 3y plus 2 is equal to 0. So this is y squared minus 3y plus 2 equals to 0. Now this looks more like what you have, what you are familiar with. This is clearly a quadratic equation. So now I think this is quite simple, and you can use by the method of factoring by inspection. So here I think y and y, so y times y is y squared. So I'm going to find the combination for 2. So 2 will be 2 and 1, and it has to be positive. So maybe negative 2 times negative 1, you will get positive 2. Why it has to be negative? Because here you have negative 3y. So you're going to multiply this in this diagonally. So this is negative y, and this is negative 2y. If you add this term, it will become negative 3y. Okay, so now I'm going to factor this quadratic equation. So it will become y minus 2 and y minus 1 equals to 0. So of course, if you're not confident with it, you can always check. How do we check this? We make sure that when you expand it, it looks exactly like this: y squared minus 3y plus 2. So y times y is y squared. Y times negative 1, negative y, negative 2 times y, negative 2y. So you add these two terms, you get negative 3y, and negative 2 times negative 1, you will get positive 2. So there you go. So now we can solve the equation using the zero product rule, which is y minus 2 must be equal to 0, or y minus 1 is 0. Therefore, y is equal to 2. This one, y must be equal to 1. So what is y? Y is actually 2 to the power of x must be equal to 2. So if you compare 2 to the power of x and 2, clearly you can see that x must be equal to 1. So that is the first solution. Now for this one, y is 2 to the power of x is equal to 1. Now if you want to solve what is x, you can actually express 1 in terms of 2 to the power of x, and this one must be 2 to the power of 0. When 2 to the power of 0, the result is 1. Therefore, by comparison, you can see that x must be equal to 0. So these are the solutions to this example. And of course, you can check that these solutions are correct. Okay. Next. So solve this quadratic equation. At one glance, it might not look like a clearly like a quadratic equation. So what you can do is whenever you get a complicated equation, you always try to simplify it, okay, to make sure that you can see some lowest basic form, and then you work around it, okay. So for this one, what I can do is I can write down 2x to -1, okay, minus 9 2x to -2. This is what you have learned in chapter 3, the law of exponent, plus 1 equals to 0. Okay. So next, what I can do is 2x to 1 over 2. Yeah, so 2 -1 is just 1 over 2 minus 9 2x 1 over 2 to the power of 2 plus 1 is equal to 0. So next I have 2x 2 over 2 minus 9 over 4 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. Now I can see that I can use a simple alphabet to substitute for 2 to the power of x. So let y be 2 power of x. We have y squared over 2 minus 9 over 4y plus 1 equals to 0. So based on this, I can see that you can simplify it further. So let's say you consider denominator 4. So 4 over 2 is 2, so 2y squared minus 9y plus 4 is equal to 0. Therefore, 2y squared minus 9y plus 4 is equal to 0. And I think based on this, maybe you can factor the expression easily. So you can see that I have 2y and y. And then over here might be 4 and 1. So I need to make sure that it's positive, but it is negative in the middle here. So that means something like this, -1, -4. If you multiply that, you will get 4. If you multiply 2y and y, you get 2y squared. And then this one you cross multiply, so this becomes -8y. This one becomes -y. If you add this term together, it becomes -9y. So we are doing great over here. So now we're going to factor it. It becomes 2y minus 1 and y minus 4 is equal to 0. So next we use the zero product rule. 2y minus 1 is equal to 0, or y minus 4 is equal to 0. Therefore 2y must be equal to 1, y must be half. What is y? Y is 2 to the power of x. Now 1 over 2 can also be written as 2 -1. So based on, comparing it, you can see that x must be -1. So that is the first answer. Now over here, y is equal to 4. Y is 2 to the power of x. And 4 can be expressed in terms of 2 to the power of 2. So now by comparing it, I can say that x must be equal to 2. So these are the solution for example 5.14. Okay. Now this is the last example in this video. From each corner of a square piece of sheet metal, remove a square of side 9 centimeters. So you can imagine having a square piece of sheet metal, Okay, so from each corner remove a square of 9 of a side 9 centimeters. So we are going to remove a corner which is also a square, and this is 9 centimeter. This is also 9. So similarly you go for each corner. This is an example where drawing or sketching a diagram might help you in visualizing the problem. Okay, so turn up the edges to form an open box. So this one will be removed, removed, remove. So now you're going to turn up the edges to form an open box. So you can imagine this will become the base of the box. Okay, so the box will look like this, something like this. Yeah, okay. So if the box is to hold 144 cubic centimeters, 144 cubic centimeters, okay, what should be the dimensions of the piece of sheet metal? So now this length is unknown. You can call it x. Okay, the whole length is x. So if the whole length is x, this part here will be x minus 18. Okay, so dimension will be in terms of length times width times height. So this must be x minus 18. So this one also must be x minus 18. X minus 18. And the height, which is this one, height is 9. So this is the height is 9. This is x minus 18. And on this part is also x minus 18. Okay. So we need to find what is x, because we need to know what is the dimension, what is length, what is width, what is height. Okay, height is already known, 9 centimeter, fine. So now what we're going to have is we're going to construct an equation. So that would be length times width times height must be equal to 144. So the length is x minus 18, the width is also the same, the height is 9, is equal to 144. Now 144 divided with 9 is 16. So I have x minus 18, square it, okay, this guy over here, square it, is equal to 144 divided with 9 is 16. So now what I have is, if I want to get rid of the exponent of the square, I need to introduce square root. So I'm going to introduce square root over here, and if the same thing must be also applied on the right hand side, plus minus, don't forget. Okay, don't forget the plus minus sign. And so it becomes x minus 18 plus minus 4. So the solution is either x is equal to 18 minus 4, or x must be equal 18 plus 4. This one is 14 and this one is 22. Now the answer, the final answer should be x is equal to 22. It cannot be 14, because then you will get a negative value for this part, x minus 18. So x is 22. Therefore, if x is 22, we know that height is actually 9. So length is actually x minus 18. So if x is 22, the length is 4. And the width is also the same, which is x minus 18, which is 4. Therefore, these are the answers to this question, what should be the dimensions of the piece of sheet metal. Okay, thank you very much. See you in the next video.